What's up guys, today I'm going to be going over two recent music videos I shot, one with a $0 budget and one with a larger budget. You're going to get a behind the scenes look of what it was like to work on both of these sets, and my approach on working with different budgets. Let's check it out. So for this first music video, I had the honor of getting to create this fun, energetic rock music video for Maggie Miles. I actually met Maggie at a local coffee shop in my neighborhood. She's a barista there. She was telling me about this artist project that she has and was able to check out some of her music, and I was genuinely blown away with how talented she is. So I told her, I was like, hey, if you ever wanted to shoot something fun, please let me know. I'd be happy to help. I don't need any money or anything like that. I just want to help you create something great for your music. We had a meeting and kind of discussed through what the song meant to her and what the story was she was trying to tell. I'm always looking for interesting locations, and I remember finding this really cool office space that had like this retro 90s just kind of stale office vibe. So when Maggie was telling me she had this idea of this kind of corporate punk visual, I knew that this would be the perfect location for something like that. Now when it comes to working on projects without a budget, either means that you're doing everything by yourself or you're going to be reaching out to some friends for some favors. So that's what I did. I hit up my buddy Bryant, who's an amazing director, DP, colorist, editor, VFX guru, and asked him if he'd want to help DP on this project. Bryant had been doing a lot of other work with this band called In Color that I love, and I knew he would be a perfect fit for this kind of rock vibe. So I hit him up and asked him if he had a free day in his schedule and if he'd be down to help out with this one.
Spin the globe.
Now when I'm shooting a music video without any budget and I want to bring on a core member like a DP or gaffer, I try to work with them and their schedule to see when they're available to do something like this. Once I find a time that works for them, I then check my personal schedule and come back to the artist or band to see if that would be okay. So once Bryant was down, I hit up my boy Brody that does all of my BTS stuff on this channel to see if he'd be down to hang too. Honestly, just with the three of us, we all have experience in multiple different roles on set, so when it comes to these small run and gun shoots, it's incredibly helpful to have someone that has some knowledge in multiple different departments like this. Super grateful that Blackmagic sent me the Pixis 12K, so I had the camera. I knew I wanted to use my vintage Canon FD set that I have. I have the 15, 24, 35, 50 macro, 85 and 100, and these lenses are tiny, they're beautiful, they're still some of my favorite lenses. So I had the camera, I had the lenses, I had a couple lights and a couple buddies, so I knew that this was going to be a fun shoot. So with smaller projects like this, usually you're at the mercy of natural light, which is not the worst thing. It just means that you don't have the control over it all the time. So usually when I'm first walking onto a location, I'm seeing where the sun's going to be, I'm checking out what light is available, and then what additional lighting that I can add. Now since there was just three of us, that means that we were all doing a ton of jobs. I wasn't just directing or DPing or cam opping or gaffing. We all had to lend a hand on pulling something like this off.
Fog works with an X, because we be putting in that fog works.
Since I'm bringing on my friends for this and no one's getting paid, I don't expect them to be able to give multiple days or long 12-hour shoot days on a project. So securing one really good location like this office space allowed us to have the opportunity to create diverse things while still physically being in one spot that kept us moving quickly. Now I think the key to a $0 budget is to simplify the process as much as possible. So for us, we knew that we were going to lean heavy on high performance and that we were going to use as much natural light as available.
I'm looking at I'm getting sloppy.
Here's my selfie light. That's a wrap on Placebo, everyone.
It's okay.
So for this other project, I was hired to direct a music video for the band called WLDLFE. If you haven't heard of them, they're an incredible Nashville-based band. Jansen, Carson, Jack, they're awesome guys, super talented. They just released a new single called Heart that you guys gotta check out. Although we did have a larger budget with this music video, we still kept the concept pretty simple. So we had the opportunity to shoot this music video at probably my favorite studio here in Nashville, Citation Support. It is incredible. We booked this space primarily for two reasons. One, we needed a cyc wall that was large enough to fit this like 30 by 20 foot turf rug that the band was going to be on. And then ideally we wanted something with an overhead system that we can rig lighting to.
I love when things in your mind end up looking like what you imagine them to be, you know?
So for this shoot, I was able to bring on a gaffer, a key grip, another grip, a first AC, a PA, and then my boy Brody on BTS again. I knew that most of our time was going to be spent building this overhead rig, so I needed more help on the G&E side of things than I did camera.
Imagine trying to do this without a motorized grid.
Since this was going to be a pretty simple performance piece, I knew that I could probably operate the cameras and be fine with not having a DP. Now in this shoot, I did decide that I wanted to run a 2-cam setup because there were 6 band members that were going to be there, and I was worried about not having enough time to get coverage of everyone. Running 2 cameras allowed us to double down on every take by either having a wide or tight shot, 2 different compositions, or 2 different camera movements at the same time. This allowed us to keep moving quickly and gave me the opportunity to get more coverage than I would have with just 1 camera. Now, though I typically don't love to direct and DP and operate at the same time, since this was predominantly just a performance piece, I knew that I wasn't going to be giving a ton of direction to the talent, that I was mainly going to be focused on just composition and camera movement. I do a lot of projects this size where I'm kind of wearing 2 hats of a director and a DP and find myself operating a lot. Although it's possible to do both, I'm trying this year to focus more on directing and letting go of the camera so I can get a better performance out of the actor or the talent. In this case, we were using Jason's Olympus Zuko TLS 3-house lenses. They're beautiful. Having the opportunity to have such great glass on the pictures just sets you up for success. And being able to have an AC that can pull focus for you really takes the production to another level.
Let's try it.
Now the goal isn't to make low budget look like high budget, but to just be intentional with the choices and resources that you have access to. Don't let money or budget discourage you from creating. At the end of the day, people remember how a video made them feel, not how it was shot. So whether you have $0 or a large budget, our job is to still solve problems and make something beautiful.
It's okay.